All right, welcome to another Give SI Nonprofit Spotlight. Remember, you can donate right now at givesi.org. So let's find out a little bit more about Heaven's Kitchen.
Thank
Welcome.
you. First of all, thank you for doing this. This is amazing to have this opportunity to really showcase what we do with the foundation. I created the foundation 24 years ago, actually. My Clothes for Kids program, and then Heaven's Kitchen now, as you mentioned, we all started it in September 7 years ago, actually. So we have converted just since May from a meal kitchen to a official food pantry, and it's just been amazing. It's just totally been amazing, and just helping a lot of families and a lot of kids.
Yeah, and so the parent of it is Fowler Bone and Foundation, and then, like you said, the Clothing for Kids and the Heaven's Kitchen. So so we can understand part of that. You just mentioned food pantry, but the Clothing for Kids, tell us a little bit more about that.
Right, I created that from a childhood memory that I had growing up on a small farm in El Dorado. I lived 5 miles outside of town, and the school bus would get somewhat off the beaten path and pick up a little brother and sister. And they would come running out of this somewhat dilapidated type home. I was probably about 8 years old at the time, with smiles on their face. But I remember how they were treated at school because they didn't have nice shoes and clothes to wear to school. They were kind of bullied and, germs, stay away from them, and things like that. And it just really had a memory that I couldn't, it wouldn't leave me. And 24 years ago, I decided, actually, I was the president of the United Way of Saline County, and I wanted to, do something. And so I formed a umbrella account off the United Way, and I put together the very first United Way of Saline County Clothes for Kids Junior Golf Day, where we brought underprivileged children in and taught them a little bit about golf and just gave them an atmosphere, and brought them in off the clubhouse and told them that their participation was going to help hopefully clothe some less fortunate children to have a complete brand new wardrobe for school. And what I mean by complete brand new wardrobe was 3 or 4 pair of jeans, 3 or 4 shirts, socks, underwear, shoes, coat, whatever they needed. And I raised $1,500 that day. And I went back to the elementary school where my memory had occurred, and I met with the teachers confidentially when they were in workshop. And I told them that I'd raised $1,500. I told my story. You're the ones that know the children, and I would like to be able to provide a complete new wardrobe for 5 or 6 children that otherwise couldn't afford it. A couple of days later, one of the teachers calls me. She said, "Dale, I got to tell you the story about this little girl. Similar story. Just poor, right? And she wore the same clothes practically every day. And so, can we help this little girl?" I said, "Absolutely. This will be number one." So the teacher and I went shopping for the little girl. The teacher picked everything out, got it to the little girl or the family, however she deemed fit. And a couple of days after that, the teacher calls me. She said, "Dale, I got to tell you about the little girl." Came running into my classroom, came running up to my desk and said, Teacher, look at my new shoes, look at my new clothes." So guess what it did to that teacher? Yeah. So the teacher starts talking about the difference in confidence and self-esteem within this little girl. And so fast forward 24 years, last year we helped over 630 children throughout Southern Illinois with a complete brand new wardrobe. If somebody would have told me 24 years ago that we would help 630 children in 1 year, I would say, how are we going to do that? Yeah. But we did. But it's only because of the generosity of the great people of Southern Illinois.
Yeah, and it is so important because it adds some confidence and takes away, that one thing that makes a kid stand out, and allows them to just kind of blend in and focus on academics and the other things that are so important. What a great confidence booster that is.
Absolutely. One quick story I'll tell you. The correspondence and the testimonials that we received has been very powerful. 5 years ago, I sponsored a gospel concert downtown El Dorado, and one of the performers knew a little bit about my foundation. He asked me to come up on stage and talk about the foundation. There's about 1,000 people there. I wasn't expecting to do it, so I talked a little bit about Clothes for Kids, and I came off the stage, and when I came off the stage, there was a young man that was holding about a 2-year-old little boy in his arms, and he said, "Mr. Fowler," he said, he introduced himself. He said, "I'm one of the first children you clothed." He said, "I was from a very abusive, my parents, and they were alcoholics, and I'll never forget what you did for me." He said, "I'm a truck driver now, and this is my little boy." He said, "I'll never forget that."
Yeah.
And that's why, those are kind of stories that when you know you're making a difference in the lives of a child, you want to do more.
Yeah, many times talk about generational impact. You've changed the trajectory maybe of that kid who now then has done something different for his. So, so quickly, we want to also talk about, so Clothing for Kids is not just a only happens in Harrisburg, right? I mean, you're impacting kids in a much wider area.
We've touched children. It's a confidential referral program through schools and social agencies, as I mentioned, and we've touched 20 counties now of working with the schools and agencies throughout all of Southern Illinois. So we just want to keep growing it.
Yeah, that's absolutely. And even with the Heaven's Kitchen, I mean, you have people, again, there's people that can come from quite a distance.
Oh, absolutely. I've always said if a child is properly fed, properly clothed, they're going to have a better chance in life. And so 7 years ago, a little over 7 years ago, we opened up a meal kitchen called Heaven's Kitchen in Harrisburg, where we served a hot meal every Tuesday night, and it just grew tremendously. But what we found out along the way with food insecurities, we were kind of led to restructure. So we eliminated the food kitchen, and we're now an official food pantry, And so we just moved into a new location two weeks ago, actually, and we're helping over 200 families every week with food, and it's been phenomenal. And we're gearing up for the holidays. Of course, we got Christmas coming up, and we're going to provide hams and fixings for families, and working with less fortunate, of course, obviously, and disabled and elderly citizens that can't get out, and it's just been an amazing transition. It was a difficult decision to make, but it was the right one to make with the food insecurities that we're facing throughout Southern Illinois. And again, and something I want to touch, we don't, my foundation, we don't have any administrative fees.
Right.
We're all just volunteers working as hard as we can to do what we can to help as many families and children and elderly and veterans and everyone we can help.
Yeah, that's amazing. And we talked a little bit about that earlier, that as hard a decision as that was to make, and even the community asking, why are you changing? It's such an important part that you pivoted, you saw and it was a hard choice, but now now what you're seeing, the greater impact you're having. And I commend you as a board, number one, to make that hard choice, because it's not easy to make a decision like that and just kind of step into the unknown, but for the right things, and you saw that, and you knew where you need to go. And so what a great thing.
It takes an army, and our board is amazing. Our volunteers, we have church groups, we have, basketball teams, softball teams, whatever, if they want to come and volunteer. And since we've started, especially the food pantry, the support that we've seen has been amazing. And we, every Tuesday night, we give food out, and no questions asked. Yeah. And that's what makes us somewhat unique. Some food pantries that you get out once a month, we do it every Tuesday night. And it's been a great compliment to other food pantries too. And I really want to accommodate, take the opportunity to compliment that everyone that works so hard to really help with the food insecurities that we're facing.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate you coming in and sharing a little of that story with us, and letting everybody know that. And so you obviously now everyone can go to givesi.org, find out more about Fowler Bowman Foundation, Heaven's Kitchen, and Clothing for Kids, and then find a way to donate there to help continue with these vital services. So thank you, Dale, for being here with us today, and thank you for supporting Give SI.
Well, thank you for what you're doing. You've been a great partner in a lot of different things, and we want to continue just working as hard as we possibly can. People ask me if I have a goal, and the only goal I have is to help as many people as we can help. Absolutely.
So givesi.org, Give SI is for good, forever, for Southern Illinois. Thank you.
Give SI is made possible by Oasis. We More Better. Video services provided by ManVoice. Additional funding for Give SI is made possible by these sponsors.